Hey everyone, and welcome back to another devlog. It's Monday at around 5:15 p.m. Just got off of work and I'm about to sit down and start this week's development log. I'm pretty excited for this week. I've got some really cool stuff planned. I'm excited to build to device again and spend some time playing it and making any gameplay tweaks that I need. And I'm also going to add a long-standing feature that I've had on the backlog that was suggested by a good friend of mine, and that's going to be rain, or some kind of rain particle effect or shader. I don't know how it's going to go down, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So let's sit down and figure out what we're going to work on first. Alright, so I think the rain's going to be a pretty fun challenge, so that's what I'm going to start out with this week. In my mind, there are kind of three components to it. Of course, the visual effect, which I think I'm going to try to achieve with a particle system. The sound of rain, which I think is going to probably replace the background noise of crickets chirping. And then I have to figure out how exactly I want this to appear. I obviously don't want it to rain all the time or not often enough. I think I'm going to make a random chance of having rain take place when you start up the app and maybe after you start a new round. I'm not quite sure how that would work. Need to figure that out, but anyway, right now we're going to start with the visual effect. That looks really cool, but it is just so wrong. I'm not good at particles. What am I doing, guys? So I'm pleased to report that I've ended up with something that I think looks pretty good here, but I have noticed that this is going to be a little bit more work than just creating the particle system. I think it'll be nice to have some type of particle splash effect down here when these raindrops hit the grass, so I'll need to figure out how to set up some kind of collider, I think. And then up here, it doesn't seem right that you can see the stars and the moon, at least not completely. There needs to be some kind of cloud cover here, so I don't know if I'm just going to create new art for the background or if I'm going to programmatically create some little clouds here that float around and kind of obscure what's going on in the background. Don't know about that yet. I think that would be kind of a fun way to do it. But I'm happy with the rain particles for now. I'll probably tweak them some more later. But for now, I'm probably going to take a break, maybe for the rest of the night, not sure. Next thing on my plate, though, is probably going to be creating some art assets. Welcome back, guys. It is Tuesday around 5:30 p.m. Just got back from work, and I want to make a little bit of progress on this forest art. I know I said yesterday I wanted to make some changes to it to make it look like, you know, it's raining rather than just being a clear kind of starry night as it is currently. That being said, I am going over to a friend's house around 7 o'clock for a potluck, and right now I'm in the process of crafting a tasty little hors d'oeuvre for that. So don't have much time to work on that tonight, but I do want to see if I can make a little bit of progress, and I'll let you guys know what I come up with. So it's 6 o'clock now, and here's what I've come up with so far. You'll have to forgive me for this glary, horribly lit preview. This will all look better once I actually get it into Unity. But basically what I've done is darken everything a little bit, remove some of the saturation, I think is what I did, and then I added some clouds. And I think that looks pretty good, actually. It looks very dark and ominous. If we go check out the previous one, you can see it's way more lit. It almost looks like not real compared to this other one. But really happy with how this turned out. Now it's time to finish up that hors d'oeuvre and go to my friend's place. I'll catch up with you guys probably tomorrow at some point. Good morning, folks. It's just after 6 a.m. on Wednesday morning. You'll have to excuse my voice. My allergies are driving me nuts, but we're going to power through and make some more progress on the rain effect. So I've got my art asset that I created last night imported into Unity down here, and now I think I'm going to write a script that at the beginning of the game will check to see some random value to determine whether or not we should be showing rain. Of course, if we should be showing rain, we're going to swap out the background and play the particle effects that I was working on the other day. So I just finished coding everything up, and I think it turned out really well. None of this was that complicated. I've got our Rain Manager class now that basically just grabs a reference to the background sprite renderer and swaps out that sprite, and also plays the particle system. Soon this will also be in charge of playing the sound of rain as opposed to the sound of crickets chirping in the background. Over in my game world, I've got a pretty easy little function here to determine if we should show rain. Calculate a random number between 1 and 10. I've got a predefined rain chance value, and if our roll is less than or equal to that, we show rain. Pretty simple. So over here in the editor, You can see I've got my game world selected and this rain chance value exposed in the editor for me to tweak. If I set that to 0, we should not see rain. And of course, indeed, we see what we're used to here. But if we kick this up to 10 or higher, then we should definitely see rain. So this is what the sprite looks like incorporated into Unity. I think it turned out great. It's very dark, very gloomy, way less color. I think it does a great job of kind of showing what rain might look like. There's a few things that need tweaking here, obviously. The stars should not be in front of the clouds, and the particles need some work. They all are a bit too bright and a bit too big and too obviously in the foreground, so I need to figure out how I'm going to fix that. But I think this is a great first step. I think already this looks really cool, so I'm kind of stoked to keep working on it. So this is what we're left with after a couple of tweaks. I removed the stars so that they are no longer in front of the clouds twinkling, and also made some changes to the rain particles. They're a little bit darker and of course quite a bit smaller now. Curious to hear what you guys think. There may be some glaring, obvious improvements that I can make here that I'm just not seeing because I've been staring at it for so long. So let me know what you guys think. I'm pretty happy with it so far, so I'm going to sit on it for now and go try to find some type of rain audio somewhere on the internet for free. It is now 7:45. This will probably be my last update this morning, but as you guys can hear, I have found a rain sound that I kind of like. It's a little bit more intense than I wanted. I was searching for kind of a light drizzle in the forest type of thing, but it's hard to find exactly what you're looking for. Anyway, I think it turned out pretty well. I did add some more particles to the rain particle system to kind of match the intensity of the sound. But overall, I think it sounds pretty good, and I think it looks pretty good too. I think I did a good job of creating kind of a rainy, kind of a relaxed mood here with this scene. So really happy about it. I'd love to hear what you guys think about it, and I can make some more tweaks to it going forward. I think that'll do it for now. I have volleyball this evening, so I'm not sure if I'll have any more time for dev today, but we'll see. In any case, I'll catch up soon. Good morning and welcome back. It's Friday around 6:30 a.m. The past 2 days have been super busy, so I didn't really have any time for dev, but this morning I do want to wrap up what I was working on, I think Tuesday evening, which was my implementation of rain. I think I've only got one thing left to do here, and that involves the size of the particle system. Right now, I just am scaling it on its x-axis with kind of a fixed value to fit a 1920 by 1080 screen. But I'm going to need to accommodate a bunch of different phone sizes, so what I need to do is write some code that will appropriately stretch out the particle system so that rain is poured over the entirety of the screen and not just like the middle. So that's what I'm going to work on this morning. Oh man, I was spinning my gears on this for way too long. Anyway, I'll go ahead and show you what it looks like. If we go ahead and play at 1080p, we switch out to the scene here. Up top is my particle system, and in fact what this little box represents is the shape, which is what I've been messing with this entire time. You can see that for 1080p it scales properly with the width of my screen, and it's covering it pretty perfectly, which is what I want. Now what I didn't have before is if I got to kind of crazier resolutions like the resolution of this monitor, which is 3440 by 1440, if I hit play that should still look nice there, and in fact it does look pretty cool. And if we bump out to the scene, of course, we can see that this has scaled properly. I made one more quick change before I have to head off to work. I basically decided that a 20% chance to see rain felt about right after starting and stopping the game a bunch of times. And I also wanted to ensure that if you hadn't played the game before, you don't see rain. I want you to at least start off by seeing the kind of moonlit forest initial art that I created for the game. So I incorporated that, I got it all working, and I'm pleased to say that the rain implementation is now finished up. I think I have an idea of what I'm going to do next, but I'll probably save that for either tonight or tomorrow when I finally get to work on it. So I'll head off to work now, and I'll catch up with you guys later. What's up, everybody? It's Friday afternoon around 5:15. We survived work, we made it to the weekend, which is awesome. It's pretty rainy and dreary outside this afternoon, so I don't think we have any plans to go out or anything. So I think what I'm gonna do is grab a beer and make some video games. The theme of my development work this week has pretty much been to make Blink look as cool as possible. So going along with that, I think I have a cool idea for the player. What I want to do is implement a particle system on the player that emits particles as you're dragging him. So what that'll look like is particles coming out behind the Firefly as he's moving around to kind of symbolize his emission of light. I don't think this will be very difficult to implement, but I think it will provide a really cool visual effect. I love that Unity finally has a dedicated prefab editor that's going to be perfect for the implementation of this particle system on our player. So let's get into it. Alrighty, I think we got that wrapped up, so I'll go ahead and show you the effect. Basically, anytime you're actively pressing and dragging the Firefly, you'll get this little stream of kind of randomized particles behind him. They're a little bit lighter color than the yellow of the circle that he's creating, so you should still be able to see them. It's just another cool effect, I think, to add on top of all the particle effects that are going on your screen. I think it's a nice little visual touch. I'd love to hear what you guys think, though. Alrighty, I've got one more thing that I want to work on tonight, and that is adding a lighting effect to the background Fireflies in the game. So we swap over here. What I'm talking about is these little yellow guys that are blinking in the background. Right now they don't have any lighting effects, and because I've got a directional light pointing at the whole background here, I think it should be easy to equip these guys with point lights to create kind of the same effect as when you're dragging the Firefly and he emits his own light. Again, I think this is just another piece of low-hanging fruit in terms of visual improvement for Blink. So yeah, I'm going to knock that out. Alright guys, I'm super happy with how this turned out. I wanted this to be a very subtle effect, so you really can't tell when the scene is that bright, but you'll see that as the scene gets darker, the light that these little Fireflies in the background put out makes a big difference in kind of the aesthetic. You can already kind of see it, but as it gets darker, that effect just looks so cool with these guys lighting up and giving you a little bit of help in terms of keeping the scene lit. I think that's a great effect. That was super easy to do, so I'm just happy with how that came out. Well, I know it's only Friday night, but looking at Trello, I've pretty much wrapped up all the big ticket items that I had for this week. So with that being said, I think we're just going to go ahead and wrap up this week's development log. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. I think we made a lot of really cool visual improvements. As always, I'd love to hear any feedback that you guys have. I love going in and tweaking stuff based on how things look. Good to get another set of eyes on this type of thing. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.